We didn't give him a chance the first day at the hospital.
But this Washington County teenager is proving everyone wrong 7 months after a violent crash on his way to school. His story of survival is inspiring his family, nurses, and doctors. His recovery will be long, but his family still holds on to a lot of hope.
Channel 11's Gordon Lesh talked with them about their son who is overcoming so many obstacles.
All right, lean on forward for me. 1, 2, 3. Great, Keaton, good.
One step at a time, 15-year-old Keaton Mirdo is getting stronger.
And shift, lock out that knee.
This is part of his physical therapy at the Children's Hospital Rehabilitation Unit.
To the amount that Keaton's recovered, that we're walking really with me doing, some help back here to help out with the hips is quite remarkable.
In October, Keaton and his sister Brycelyn were in a violent head-on crash while on their way to Trinity High School.
At the scene, it was horrific, but we didn't know how bad he really was until we got here and they told us not to expect him to make it.
Brycelyn had numerous broken bones, but Keaton's injuries were far more severe.
To get where we are now, it shows how amazing my kids are.
Keaton suffered brainstem and upper spinal cord injuries. He must use a ventilator and can't talk, but he's quickly learned sign language.
Keaton does more than 3 hours of physical, occupational, and speech therapy every day, but it's broken out into small segments so he can build his endurance.
Even pulling on your shirt, sitting up on your own can be such an amazing accomplishment.
I asked Keaton what keeps him motivated, and his sister translated his response.
DS. Everyone's sending me cards and visits.
Keaton will soon be able to get those visits at home. He was one of the first patients at this new unit at the children's home. After 5 months here, he'll leave on Thursday, but his work to recover will continue.
That's pretty fast.
In Friendship, Gordon Lesh, Channel 11 News.
He's come so far, but he has so far yet to go.
Such hard work, and makes you realize how blessed we all are.
Absolutely.
Keaton's family says he's only going home because their insurance will no longer cover the inpatient care.
So now the family's trying to raise money to fix their house in Washington so it's more accessible for Keaton. If you'd like to help them, we've posted a link and information on our website, WPXI.com.
The police officers, the paramedics, the firefighters, when they responded to this call, it wasn't just as protectors. These were their neighbors.
Indeed, Lisa, and those first calls came in during a shift change, so those first responders, they really didn't know what they were getting into, and heroes emerged. Our Rick Earl wanted to shine a spotlight on them, and he spoke to some of them today.
It was just another routine Wednesday morning when the call came in here to Medic 1 in Murraysville. Reports of multiple stabbing victims at the high school just down the road. These EMTs and paramedics were among the very first responders into the scene. What did you see? Were you prepared for what you saw?
No, I was not. It must look like a war zone. People walking around covered in blood, people laying in the driveway, in the parking lot.
Medic 1 Chief Derek Girano got there first.
One of the first people I came to was the school security guard who was sitting upright against a locker in one of the hallways and obviously had an injury because of the blood on his shirt. I asked him if he was okay. He said, take care of the kids first.
As it was going on, felt like it was a dream, but you quickly realize it's reality and you just do what you do.
Had you ever seen anything like this?
Absolutely not. Never expected to either.
I sat down with the medics who responded that morning. Among them, Patty Rupert, who just started working 8 days ago. Did something in the back of your mind say, hey, what have I gotten myself into?
Yeah, it was a little scary. I'm like, what am I gonna do? I'm not sure what I'm doing yet, but I followed the direction of my peers.
EMT Andrew Rocky Zakshevitz told me he used humor to try to calm a student victim.
I asked him if he liked his t-shirt, and he said, yeah. I said, well, good, you're going to pull through so I can buy you a new one. And I ended up cutting his shirt. His aunt and uncle called the station about 5 or 6 times trying to figure out who I was. Just thanked me over and over again.
So they called you to thank you for saving him?
Yeah, which that's very unusual. You don't hear about that. In this field, you see a patient, and if they make it, you kind of look for that and make sure see how they're doing, and that's that. But it's definitely rewarding seeing and hearing from the outcome.
Medic 616, can you please respond to Redstone Highlands for a patient having chest pain?
At the Medic 1 station, the hallways are filled with cards and letters of thanks from students. You undoubtedly saved lives.
It makes me feel like I did my job. You know, I wouldn't consider myself a hero, you know, and I don't think that anybody here would consider themselves a hero. We're just grateful that we helped out.
It's hard because I have children myself, so it's more so, you know, trying to get them to comprehend. And thinking back, I'm glad to, you know, have worked with a great group of people that day. I mean, they made a big difference. I couldn't imagine working with a different group.
Everything just worked. You know, we couldn't change that had happened, but we changed the outcome. So, and we did our jobs.
The director here at Medic One also praised the assistance from several nearby ambulance services. He says everyone working together, treating the patients and getting them to the hospital in less than a half hour saved lives. In Murraysville, Rick Earl, Channel 11 News. Most of the kids ran away from danger. You ran toward it.
I was put into the situation. I didn't know what was going on until I was in the middle of it.
Wednesday morning, as you can imagine, it was chaotic, it was frightening, and it was terrifying, and it just took seconds, really, these kids acting on instinct, the students, the teachers, everyone really stepping up and fighting back.
And Lisa, it was these split-second decisions that really helped this situation, this awful situation, from getting any worse. Channel 11's Rick Earl has a story of one young man who helped end the attack.
In addition to the paramedics and EMTs here at Medic One, a number of other people played a very critical role at the school that morning. Among them, a high school senior who risked his own life to help take down the suspect.
I was in the school and I came down the stairs and I saw the kid and Mr. King was yelling at him and I didn't know why. I turned around and saw him stab Sarge, the police officer.
As students were running through the halls, senior Ian Griffith saw Assistant Principal Sam King chasing the suspect. Griffith joined in.
I was right behind him and we both jumped on him and immobilized him. And
what was going through your mind when you're doing this, when this is happening?
Not much.
You just instinctively reacted like that? Were you scared? Were you nervous?
Yeah, I was looking for a garbage can to hit him with or something.
While the principal had the suspect on the ground, Griffith attempted to keep him from stabbing them.
Mr. King immobilized him. He pinned him down. I jumped on top of him as well and just held down his wrists and arms and tried to keep the knives stationary.
So you're holding his hands with the knives in them?
Yes.
Did he try to stab you?
No, he couldn't move his hands.
The principal then told Griffith to go get an ambulance and the school resource officer.
I went out to the lobby to go relay that message, and then as I was coming back, there were many more teachers on top of them and janitors as well helping out. So I figured that I didn't have to do anything else. So I went with the rest of the student body and went down to the field.
Griffith, who plans to attend Penn State in the fall, says he didn't know the suspect, and he says he didn't hear the suspect say anything. Most of the kids ran away from danger. You ran toward it.
I was put into the situation. I didn't know what was going on until I was in the middle of it.
Do you think you saved lives?
No, I think that Mr. King was the main hero here.
And Griffith says he's not worried about returning to the high school.
It's been a safe school. There's never been any incidents, even with knives as I'm concerned. So I don't think there is any reason why we should be afraid and have metal detectors. So I think the school didn't do anything wrong in this situation.
He says his thoughts and prayers are now with the victims. You've had some time to think about this. What's your reaction to what happened?
I'm disturbed, mainly. Sorry for the victims and praying for them.
His friends call him a hero, but Ian Griffith brushes that off and says he just played a small part in bringing down the suspect and ending the attacks. In Murraysville, Rick Earl, Channel 11 News.